You didn't find this message by mistake. You didn't scroll your way here by coincidence. You were drawn, pulled, compelled by something that didn't come from your mind, but from your spirit. Because deep within you, there is a knowing, a whisper, a quiet ache that refuses to leave. And that ache, beloved, is not just yours, it is shared. Across the veil of distance and time, your soul is entangled with another. A connection forged not by flesh or familiarity, but by divine orchestration. They are alive, breathing, smiling even, but broken. And the worst part? No one knows it. No one sees it, except you. Because this connection isn't logical, it's spiritual. And what your eyes cannot witness, your heart feels clearly. You feel their silence like a thunderstorm in your chest. You sense their absence like a missing limb. You try to explain it, try to push it away, but the bond keeps whispering. They're not okay. They're suffering, not in front of the world, but behind closed emotional doors. They laugh with others, and yet cry alone. They show strength, but only because they've mastered the art of hiding pain. And you, yes, you, have been chosen by heaven to love them in a way no one else ever has. Not to fix, not to heal, but to remain, to reflect something they've never known, a love that doesn't demand perfection before presence, a love that holds space even in silence. Because right now, they are drowning, not in drama, not in chaos, but in the quiet kind of pain that eats from the inside out. And still, they think of you, in the stillness, in the dark, in the places they go when they're too tired to pretend. You're the soft thought that brings comfort they don't understand. The soul that shows up in their dreams when their subconscious dares to believe in peace. But fear, oh, fear is loud, louder than logic, louder than love. They were taught that vulnerability leads to abandonment, that being known is dangerous, that if someone sees their wounds, they'll walk away like all the rest. So they test, they withdraw, they wait to see if you'll vanish too. But you haven't, not fully. Even when you try to move on, your heart kept circling back, because something eternal was planted between you, a thread of destiny glowing in the unseen realm. You weren't sent to them to rescue them. You were sent to remind them of who they were before the pain rewrote their worth, before fear convinced them they were unlovable, before silence became their only safe space. Your love is the mirror that reveals their truest self. But to love them, truly love them, will stretch you beyond your comfort, because you'll have to embrace a truth that few understand. Real love doesn't rush healing. Real love doesn't force revelation. Real love says, I see your shadows, and I'm not afraid of them. They don't know how to receive that. Not yet, but their soul is crying out for it. And right now, even as you read these words, there's a battle happening, not between you and them, but within them, between the voice that wants to believe you are safe and the voice that screams you'll leave too. This is not about rejection. This is about survival. They're not pushing you away to hurt you. They're distancing themselves to protect themselves. Because in their past, love came with strings, with threats, with betrayals, with conditions. But your love, it confuses them. It doesn't make demands. It doesn't try to control. It simply is. And that's terrifying for someone who has only known love as a performance. So they ghost. They hide. They delay. But your energy remains wrapped around their heart like a silent prayer. And here's the truth heaven needs you to know. Your love is working, even when you can't see it. Every wordless act of grace, every patient moment of release, every boundary you've upheld with dignity, it's shaping something holy. Your presence is a seed in their soul. And seeds don't bloom overnight. They crack. They break. They fight the soil before they ever see the sun. But oh, beloved, when they rise, it will be unlike anything you've ever imagined. Right now, God is preparing them in silence. He is unraveling lies they believed for decades. He is healing wounds they swore would never close. He is confronting the trauma they buried so deep they forgot it was even there. And all the while, He's using your love to do it, not the love that clings, Not the love that demands updates or responses, but the love that remembers. The love that stays soft, even when they disappear, even when they say nothing, even when they don't come home. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to convince them. You only need to keep your heart rooted in truth. Because the lie says you're being forgotten. The truth says you're being divinely remembered. They are not running from you. They are running from the version of themselves that never felt worthy of you. And your love is burning that lie to the ground, one silent act of grace at a time. So don't shrink. Don't harden. Don't let their fear become your identity. You're not too much. You are not unchosen. You are not foolish for feeling this deeply. You are chosen for this assignment, for this soul, for this sacred love. And heaven is proud of you. The angels have wept with you. They've watched you stay open, even when the silence screamed. And now, they're preparing the reunion, not just in body, but in spirit. Because the next time they come back, if you stay grounded in grace, it won't be to test. It will be to begin. Beloved, what if I told you the delay is not denial? What if I told you that every moment of silence from them is not rejection, but divine resistance? Resistance to a love that feels too pure to be real. They don't know how to receive it. They've known attraction, infatuation, games. But this quiet, steady, soul-recognizing love you carry, it terrifies them. Because it demands something they've never had to give before. Authenticity, not performance, not charisma, not curated perfection, just truth. And truth is where their pain lives. Beneath the layers of their smile is a war zone. Wounds buried in childhood. Moments of abandonment they never unpacked. People who promised forever but left without goodbye. They learned to survive by pretending, to cope by detaching. But love like yours? It stirs what they buried. It demands they come alive again. And that, dear heart, feels like death to the version of themselves they built to survive. Right now, they are not running from you. They are running from the mirror you hold up every time you look at them with eyes that say, I still see you, even here. They've never had someone stay. Not when they were messy. Not when they were undone. Not when they didn't know how to speak what hurt. You don't need them to explain, because your soul already knows. But theirs doesn't believe it yet. So the storm rages. Not outside. Inside. It rages when they try to text you, but delete the words. It rages when they hear your name and feel comfort and guilt at the same time. It rages when they miss you, but feel too ashamed to reach out. Because shame is loud, and shame is a liar. It says, you'll never be enough. And your love, your patience, your unwavering hope, it is confronting that lie with every beat of your heart. But confrontation comes before healing. And right now, they're fighting the war of becoming. Becoming whole, becoming open, becoming vulnerable enough to receive what they've been praying for in secret. Because yes, they prayed for you, long before you met, long before this silence, long before they knew your name. They whispered to the sky, I just want someone who sees me, who stays. And heaven said yes, and sent you. But heaven didn't promise they'd be ready. Heaven didn't say they would recognize you instantly. Because some souls are so used to being wounded, they mistake tenderness for a trap. That's why this moment is not about forcing a reunion. It's about preparing a foundation. Because if you tried to build something now, it would collapse under the weight of their unfinished healing. You try to carry what only God can touch, and it would break you. So this silence, this pause, this stretching, it's mercy, it's protection, not just for them, but for you. Because you're not called to bleed out in the name of love. You're not called to be consumed by their chaos while they figure themselves out. You're called to anchor, to hold space, to grow, to protect your joy even as you hold theirs in prayer. You were never meant to be the healer. You were meant to be the reminder that healing is possible, that love can be soft, that trust can return. And while they wrestle in the dark, you must rise in the light. Because if you dim yourself waiting for them to be ready, you will begin to forget who you are. And right now, heaven needs you awake. Awake to your worth. Awake to your mission. Awake to the destiny placed on your life with or without their response. Because love that honors God will never ask you to lose yourself. So while they heal too. While they face their fears, face yours. While they learn to trust God with the outcome. You are not being punished. You are being positioned for a love that will carry legacy, but only if you refuse to become what they're afraid of. Don't become impatient. Don't become bitter. Don't become cold. Become whole. Become the version of you that no longer needs validation to feel chosen. Because, beloved, you are chosen by heaven itself. The angels saw this connection before the earth knew your names. And they've been guarding it, watering it, protecting it in ways you can't imagine. Even now, as your heart aches, as your mind questions, as your body longs, heaven is moving. Behind the silence, behind the blocked messages, behind the delay, there is a divine strategy unfolding. And when they return, because they won't be who they were. They'll come back softer, more aware, more willing, because your love will have carved a path back to their own heart. They will see themselves through your eyes and realize they are still worthy of being loved in their rawest form. But they have to come to that revelation on their own. You can't force it. You can't shortcut it. You can only trust. Trust that God is not finished. Trust that this story is not over. Trust that the one you love is not running from you, but from a false self that never felt safe enough to be loved. And one day, when they sit across from you again, they will tell you everything. How they cried, how they wrestled, how they thought about you every single day, how they didn't know how to reach out, how your love haunted them in the most beautiful way. They will thank you for not giving up, for not pushing, for not hardening your heart. And in that moment, you will understand why you had to walk through this wilderness. Because love like this doesn't arrive dressed in perfection. It arrives in fragments, waiting to be remembered. Beloved soul, the winds are shifting again, but this time they carry astonishment disguised as grace. In the depths of silence, you've remained. In the dark of waiting, you've held hope. And while your soulmate wrestled with their worth, you've been anchoring love in steady presence. Now, heaven is beginning to move both your hearts in beautiful alignment. Silence has stretched long. Questions have piled up. Fear has sharpened its teeth. But something remarkable is unfolding. Tiny echoes of trust are stirring in their spirit. Maybe it started with a fleeting glance, a moment where pain didn't steal their gaze from you. A breath stayed, a small smile held. That, beloved, is courage gathering for a grander return. Heaven is whispering. They saw your absence. They felt your constancy. And now they are preparing to step toward something real. This is how divine love works. It begins with small, almost imperceptible steps. One message, one comfortable silence, one shared memory revisited. Each one a stepping stone back to what they feared they'd lost. You, steady, radiant, unshakable, are giving them permission to come out of hiding. Picture this. You're standing somewhere familiar, maybe on a campus bench, a park path, or a small street under golden streetlight. You haven't spoken in days, maybe weeks, but tonight, the unspoken feels worn and ready. They walk toward you, not confidently, but softly, like approaching a quiet truth. Their feet slow, their gaze flickers up, and then you're together again. No dramatiken festjen. No scene-breaking words. Just two souls allowed to meet after long nights of wandering. Maybe they pause. Maybe they whisper. Maybe you don't speak at all. Because sometimes the most powerful return is two hearts simply being in the same space again, with no expectations. That is your milestone. Once they show up in presence, not just memory, healing begins to reclaim ground. They'll say things like, I didn't realize how much I needed to see you. Or, I wanted to come back sooner, but I was scared. You'll respond with quiet strength. I stayed. Which says more than words ever could. In the echo of those sentences, raw, wary, beautiful, something sacred begins to rebuild. Reality returns. Not the messy love you were afraid forced to function, but a real love that isn't afraid of brokenness, isn't afraid of questions, isn't afraid of the slow climb. This is not fantasy. This is resilience renewed. This is wounded hearts choosing again. In that quiet space, you'll feel the first flicker of sanctuary. Sanctuary is built before seasons change. It's created in moments of permission. You can be seen. You can take your guard down. You can rest, even if it's not forever yet. No vows are needed. Silence. That soft, unpressured sacred silence is vow enough. And in that silence, you build trust again. Not by chasing, not by forcing, not by proving, but by staying. That is the sacred heartbeat of covenant love. Over the coming hours, days, even weeks, simple acts carry volcanic weight. A soft check-in when life feels heavy, a shared space. Even if words falter, a smile that arrives without pleading, a touch without agenda, a question asked, not out of obligation, but out of curiosity and care. These are not ordinary moments. They are love and rehearsal. You're relearning how to trust one another's emotions again. You're rewriting the script of expectations. You're rebuilding space for wisdom to grow over wounds. And every time you choose to lean into gentle reliability, you solidify the foundation for something real. Beloved, do you feel that? That subtle soundtrack of angels gathering. You feel it. Your heart is a sanctuary now, not just for grace, but for the presence of God. When souls begin to heal in such proximity, destiny calls the angels to convene, and the air changes. You might feel it when you least expect it, when a breeze catches your hair, when the moonlight settles soft, when a favorite song feels like a personal anthem. Heaven is writing a new chapter. You could call it something small, an evening where you laugh, a morning where they stay longer, a conversation that drifts from the trivial to the sacred. You could call it home. This is your midpoint miracle. It's not a dramatic declaration. It's a quiet surrender. You're both learning to share vulnerability. You're both learning to let light in. You're both recognizing the miracle that love, real love, can mend even the most shattered souls. 8. A declaration of presence. In the deepest part of this reunion, you'll feel compelled to speak, not demands, but declarations. I'm here, I see you, I believe in this, even in your silence, even in your stumbling. I'm staying. It's not said loudly. It's not demanded. It's just proclaimed and felt in the exchange of breath. And in that moment, a covenant is renewed. As you walk away that evening, maybe separate ways, maybe together, the air lingers. You feel it. Angels rejoice. A milestone is passed. The love you've held through seasons of silence is no longer distant. It is tender reality. You're not invisible anymore. This chapter closes, but only to open the next. What's ahead is not assured, but it is sacred. You'll walk forward hand in hand, softly, gently, intentionally. Your love will grow not despite brokenness, but through it. And heaven will write the rest with you. The days became longer, not in hours, but in weight. You felt it, didn't you? That pause in your soul every time you thought of them. That ache that didn't speak with words, but left you breathless all the same. You try to move on. You try to silence the part of your heart that still whispered their name in the quiet. But the truth is, when two souls are tied by divine thread, no silence is strong enough to sever it. And in their world, the weight of your absence was louder than your presence ever was. They felt your love like a song stuck in their chest, echoing in every lonely moment. They missed you, but not just your voice or your touch. They missed the way you saw them when they couldn't see themselves. They missed the safety your spirit brought, the way your love wasn't loud, but steady, and that steadiness haunted them in the best way. They tried to bury it. They distracted themselves, drowned in routine, maybe even entertained others, but no one touched the places in their soul that you did. No one looked past their silence and saw the storm beneath. No one waited at the door of their heart without demanding it be opened. But you did. And now, something has shifted. Not out of pressure, not because they finally got it together, but because your love, unconditional, unwavering, planted a seed in them. And it has started to bloom. They are remembering who they were before the wounds, before the fears, before the shame. And with trembling steps, they're walking back. Not to be saved, not to be fixed, but to be seen and to see you in return. They are not the same person who left. The darkness didn't break them. It refined them. And the silence didn't kill your connection. It deepened it. And you? You didn't wait in desperation. You grew. You didn't pause your life. You deepened it. And now, as they return, you are not who you once were either. You are stronger, softer, clearer. You are ready, not for the fantasy, but for the sacred reality. Because love isn't just about meeting again. It's about meeting differently. And when they walk in, nervous, unsure, maybe even wordless, don't rush. Don't demand answers they're not ready to give. Just breathe. Just be. Let your presence speak louder than your questions. Let your eyes remind them that they were never truly alone. Let your spirit say, I see you still, and I never stop, because when love is real, it doesn't demand perfection. It makes room for process. They are coming back, not because you waited, but because love, the kind you gave freely, has pulled them home. And home isn't a place. It's you.